I'm looking at two invoices here. First one, BMW X3, 3 years old, 60,000 kilometers. Third service visit this year. Total so far, €2,400. Sensor replacement, software update, something called adaptive drive recalibration. Second invoice, Dacia Sandero, same age, same mileage. Oil change, €89. Now, here's what made me sit down and actually run the numbers. When you add up everything, purchase price, depreciation, fuel, repairs, financing interest, and what that money could have actually earned sitting in an index fund instead of a German dealership, the Dacia owner is €94,000 ahead. That's not a mistake. €94,000 in 3 years. The Dacia is still running perfectly. The BMW needs another sensor. I need to be clear about something. This isn't Dacia is good for the money. That's the old conversation. What's changed is that Dacia has become genuinely better than premium alternatives in almost every metric that matters. Reliability? Dacia scores higher than BMW, Mercedes, and Audi in European satisfaction surveys. I checked 3 times because I didn't believe it. Depreciation? A 3-year-old Sandero holds value better than a 3-year-old X3. Running costs? Not even close. Features? What Dacia includes as standard, Germans charge €8,000 extra for. The only category where Germans still win is badge prestige. That feeling when your neighbors see the car. That feeling costs €40,000 and comes with €2,000 annual repair bills. For a growing number of European buyers, that maths doesn't work anymore. What I'm about to show you is an opinion. It's ADAC data, which surveys, insurance industry statistics. By the end of this, you'll understand why a Romanian company building simple cars is eating German lunch, and why executives in Munich are holding crisis meetings about a brand they used to laugh at. If you're tired of being told you need to spend €60,000 for a proper car, subscribe to this channel. We do the maths the dealers don't want you to see. Let's establish exactly what we're comparing. The Dacia Sandero Stepway, Europe's best-selling car, cost €18,150 in Germany in Expression trim. It includes a 1-litre turbocharged petrol engine making 91 horsepower, manual gearbox, raised ride height, and more standard equipment than you'd expect. For reference, the new third-generation Duster starts at €22,900, still embarrassingly cheap compared to what we're about to discuss. Against the Sandero, we're comparing 3 German competitors at roughly 3 times the price. The BMW X3 xDrive 20i at €56,500, the Mercedes GLC 200 at €58,900, and the Audi Q5 40 TFSI at €54,600. Now, the immediate objection: these aren't comparable cars. The Germans are bigger, faster, more powerful, more prestigious. That's all true, but here's my counter question. Does any of that matter for how 90% of owners actually use their vehicles? Average European journey length, 12 kilometers. Average car occupancy, 1.4 people. Average speed including stops, 33 kilometers per hour. For school runs, supermarket trips, and commuting, which is what these cars actually do, the €18,000 Dacia performs identically to the €60,000 BMW. The question isn't whether the BMW is a better car in abstract terms, it's whether it's €40,000 better for real-world use. The data says no, emphatically. Here's where German marketing collides with reality. I need to be precise about what reliability means, because this is where the German brands hide behind statistics. In traditional ADAC breakdown data, cars that won't start or strand you roadside, the BMW X3 actually scores very good. Germans rarely leave you stranded, but that's not the full picture. The real cost of German complexity shows up in what I call system failures. Sensor warnings, infotainment glitches, check engine lights, and electronic gremlins that require dealer diagnosis. These don't count as breakdowns, but they absolutely count as repair bills. Here's the complexity tax. A Dacia Sandero has approximately 12 electronic control units. A BMW X3 has over 70. Every single one of those ECUs is a potential €1,000 handshake with a dealership technician. The Dacia simply doesn't have systems that can fail. In customer satisfaction surveys like Driver Power UK 2024, Dacia consistently outranks every German premium brand, which reliability surveys give Dacia an overall score of 98.8%, higher than BMW, Mercedes, or Audi. Warranty claims data from providers like WarrantyWise show German premium cars generate 3 to 4 times more claims than Dacia models. The repair cost differential is even more damning. When the Sandero does need a repair, the average bill runs €180 to €250. A comparable issue on an X3? €650 to €900. Parts availability is immediate for Dacia because they share components across the Renault-Nissan alliance. BMW? Average wait time for non-stock parts now exceeds 10 days in many European markets. German engineering used to mean bulletproof. Now it means 70 computers waiting to throw error codes. Dacia engineering means 12 computers doing their jobs quietly. Let's talk about what your money actually buys. The Dacia Sandero stepway expression at €18,150 includes, as standard, manual air conditioning, 8-inch touchscreen with smartphone integration, rear parking sensors, cruise control, LED daytime running lights, and keyless entry. Now configure a BMW X3 xDrive 20i, base price €56,500. Want automatic climate control? That's standard, fair enough. Want the 10.25-inch touchscreen with Apple CarPlay? Add the Live Cockpit Professional Package, €1,950. Want parking sensors front and rear? Add the Parking Assistant, €1,050. Keyless entry, add Comfort Access, €750. By the time you've matched the Sandero standard equipment, your BMW costs €60,250 for the same actual features. The €42,000 premium buys you a badge, 140 extra horsepower you'll never legally use, and the privilege of paying €180 per hour for servicing instead of €65. Mercedes is worse. The GLC 200 starts at €58,900 but includes almost nothing. Navigation? €1,190 extra. Heated seats? €450. A reversing camera, standard on a €15,000 Dacia Sandero, costs €410 on a nearly €60,000 Mercedes. The German premium model has become a masterclass in fleecing buyers, advertise a lowish base price, then drain their wallets for features that should be standard. Dacia's model is the opposite. Include everything, charge fairly, build trust. European buyers are finally noticing which approach respects them. This is where the €94,000 difference comes from. Let's calculate 3 years of ownership properly, including the costs most comparisons ignore. Dacia Sandero stepway, €18,150 purchase price, paid cash. Depreciation over 3 years or 60,000 kilometers, approximately €5,400. Sandero holds 70% of value. Fuel, 5.3 litres per 100 kilometers average at €1.75 per litre, €5,565. Insurance, average European price, €1,650 total. Maintenance, which covers 3 services, €400. Repairs, statistically minimal, around €150. Total 3-year ownership cost, €13,165. BMW X3 xDrive 20i, €60,250 as equipped. Financed over 4 years at 6.9% APR. Depreciation over 3 years or 60,000 kilometers, approximately €27,100. BMW holds 55% of value. Fuel, 7.8 litres per 100 kilometers real-world driving at €1.75 per litre, €8,190. Insurance, premium category, €4,200 total. Maintenance, BMW service plan, €1,800. Repairs, sensor replacements, software updates, minor electrical, €2,400. Financing interest paid over 3 years, approximately €8,200. The direct ownership difference, €38,725 in favour of the Dacia. But here's what makes this €94,000, the opportunity cost. The Dacia buyer had €42,100 they didn't spend on the BMW. If they invested that into a simple index fund averaging 8% annual returns, conservative for the last 3 years, that's approximately €14,500 in gains. Add it up. €38,725 direct savings, plus €42,100 preserved capital, plus €14,500 investment returns, €95,325 better financial position. The BMW owner paid more, borrowed to do it, watched it depreciate faster, spent more on fuel and repairs, and missed out on investment returns. The Dacia owner kept their money, let it grow, and drove a more reliable car. That's not good value for money. That's financial domination of the premium segment by basic arithmetic. So what does €40,000 plus actually buy in 2025? Let's be fair to the Germans and list genuine advantages. Performance. The BMW X3 xDrive 20i makes 184 horsepower versus the Duster's 91. 0 to 100 takes 8.2 seconds versus approximately 13 seconds. If you regularly need to accelerate quickly on unrestricted autobahns, the BMW is genuinely better. Refinement. The X3's cabin is quieter at motorway speeds. The ride quality is more composed. Material quality, despite German cost-cutting, remains superior to Dacia's hard plastics. Technology. The BMW's digital systems are more sophisticated. The infotainment is faster. Driver assistance features are more comprehensive and capable. Space. The X3 is a larger vehicle with more rear legroom and cargo capacity. If you regularly carry adults in the back or need maximum boot space, it's genuinely more practical. Status. For some professionals and social contexts, arriving in a premium German car matters. That's not shallow, it's reality. Now the question, is any of that worth €71,000 over 3 years? For most buyers, the honest answer is no. The performance difference is irrelevant in speed-limited traffic. The refinement difference is marginal. The technology mostly adds complexity that breaks. The space is rarely used. The status is increasingly questioned as premium reliability collapses. The €40,000 premium has become increasingly hard to justify with anything except, I wanted it. Which is fine, but let's stop pretending it's rational. European sales data tells a story German executives hate. Dacia sold 675,000 vehicles across Europe in 2024, a record. The Sandero was the single best-selling car in Europe, outselling the Golf. The Duster outsells the Mercedes GLC in several European markets. These aren't just budget buyers who can't afford better. Demographic data shows Dacia owners increasingly come from higher income brackets. They're not buying Dacia because they must. They're buying Dacia because they've done the maths. A French consumer study found that 23% of new Dacia buyers previously owned premium German vehicles. They switched not because of financial pressure, but because they were tired of complexity and cost. They wanted reliable transport, not a maintenance relationship with a dealership. The German response has been denial. BMW executives publicly dismissed Dacia as not in our competitive set. Mercedes marketing emphasizes brand values over cost comparisons. Audi pretends budget competitors don't exist, but their internal documents tell a different story. Leaked strategy presentations show German manufacturers increasingly worried about value-oriented defection. Premium customers leaving for budget brands. They've launched their own budget sub-brands in China. They're discussing essential trim levels that strip equipment to lower prices. The fortress of German premium is being besieged by Romanian practicality. And the walls are cracking. Owner forums and consumer surveys paint a consistent picture of the ownership experience beyond statistics. Former German car owners who switched to Dacia consistently report the same sentiment on forums like Pistonheads and honestjohn.co.uk. Years of buying premium because that's what successful people did, followed by adding up the actual cost, often €150,000 plus on depreciation and repairs across multiple vehicles, and feeling foolish. The Sandero, as one owner put it, was an apology to my bank account. Current premium owners tend to acknowledge the financial irrationality. Business owners on BMW forums frequently describe their X5 or 5 Series as a marketing expense, not transport. The car in the car park matters for client perception. Several admit they'd switch to Dacia immediately upon retirement when the badge stops mattering professionally. Dacia owners who previously leased Audis or BMWs describe the same relief. The premium car was lovely to drive, but terrifying to own. Every warning light represented a €500 question mark. The Sandero handles commuting, shopping, and occasional long trips without anxiety. As one owner forum post summarized, I haven't thought about my car in 2 years. That's the luxury. Independent specialists across Europe report the same pattern. Dacias come in for oil changes and tires. German cars come in for electrical diagnostics, sensor replacements, turbo failures, and dual-clutch transmission problems. The irony, as one UK specialist noted, is that simpler cars need less expertise while complex cars need expensive expertise that's increasingly hard to find. German owners wait weeks for appointments while Dacia owners wait days. These aren't cherry-picked outliers. They represent a growing sentiment across Europe. Premium used to mean quality. Now it means expensive. The brands traded places. Let me paint the final picture of why this is genuinely embarrassing for German manufacturers. The Dacia Sandero was built in Morocco, using engines developed in collaboration with Renault and Nissan, with interiors featuring hard plastics and fabric seats. It looks basic, it feels basic. It makes no pretense of being anything other than honest transportation. The BMW X3 is built in the United States or South Africa, using engines developed in Germany at enormous R&D expense, with interiors featuring leather and aluminium trim. It's designed to communicate success, engineering excellence, and brand prestige. And the Dacia generates higher customer satisfaction scores. That's not opinion, it's documented in driver power surveys across Europe. The German car that costs €60,000 creates more warranty claims, more dealer visits, and more ownership stress than the Moroccan car that costs €18,000. The engineering showcase is outperformed by the engineering afterthought. The prestige product frustrates while the budget product satisfies. BMW, Mercedes, and Audi have spent decades building reputations for engineering excellence. They've charged premium prices based on that reputation. They've marketed relentlessly about quality, precision, and durability. And then Dacia, building cars with a fraction of the R&D budget, using components designed for cost rather than impression, achieves better reliability outcomes. That's not competition. That's humiliation. The €18,000 Dacia doesn't just compete with the 60,000 Germans. In the metrics that matter for daily ownership, satisfaction, running costs, value retention, stress-free motoring, it beats them decisively. This isn't a temporary anomaly or a statistical quirk. It reflects a fundamental shift in automotive reality. German manufacturers prioritize complexity, technology, and premium positioning. They forgot that cars are supposed to work without constant dealer visits. Dacia prioritized simplicity, durability, and honest pricing. They remembered what cars are actually for. The €40,000 plus premium for German brands now buys you a badge, a faster 0 to 100 time you'll never use, slightly nicer materials, and the privilege of higher insurance, faster depreciation, more frequent warning lights, and financing costs that compound while your neighbor's Sandero just works. For a growing number of European buyers, that's not a value proposition. It's a wealth transfer to shareholders. I'm not saying everyone should buy a Dacia. Status matters more in some contexts. Performance matters to some buyers. Premium features genuinely improve some owners' lives. If you want a BMW and can afford the full cost including opportunity cost, that's a legitimate choice. But the conversation has changed. It's no longer, can you afford a proper car? It's, why would you pay €60,000 for something that satisfies owners less than an €18,000 alternative? The burden of justification has shifted from budget buyers to premium buyers. That shift terrifies German manufacturers, and it should. They've spent decades building an image of engineering superiority that their current products can no longer support. The Romanian upstart has called their bluff. The Dacia Sandero costs €18,000 and works. The BMW X3 costs €60,000 and might need a software update. In 2025, that's not premium. That's embarrassing. Have you switched from premium to budget or considered it? What would it take to get you into a Dacia? Share your calculations in the comments, because this community understands that real value isn't measured in badges. If this video made you question why you're actually paying more for premium cars, hit subscribe and share it with anyone currently financing a German car they can't really afford. They need to see these numbers.